Okay, going for a take. Take two. Action.
And now it's part two, so we're on to you.
Exciting.
A little rhyme there. I just wanted to ask you, because you came out of drama school and went on to Coronation Street from there, didn't you? How was that like for you?
I feel incredibly lucky to do that because I know that's not the journey for many actors. So yeah, I graduated last year, auditioned away, and then it got really quiet. And then at the start of this year, in January, I got a few episode roles to go for. I thought, great, what more could want as a Northern actor to go up? So did them, didn't get them, but I thought, great, it was good to be put in front of them. And then literally 2 weeks later, they was like, do you want to audition for a series regular? And I was like, oh, from going, I think it was 2 eps, the younger girl I'd gone up for. So I was like, that's a big difference. So it was pretty crazy. But obviously comes with that is a lot of nerves because you've got no experience. There's so much that they can teach you at drama school, but you will never fully learn until you sit on a set because you can't learn to the extent of how much you need to know. If that makes sense.
I think you learn best from experience,
Yeah.
getting thrown into the deep end and learning how to swim.
Definitely. And that's the best thing is literally no armbands, go swim.
Yeah.
See what you can do.
Yeah.
So
what would be one of the sort of like main lessons that you've been implementing on set from drama school?
in drama school, with drama school, it's really hard to remember that the drama school I went to the Arden, it's a university, so it's getting marked and it's subjective. And I think I used to think about that a lot and it was really tough. And if I could go back now, go and have fun. It doesn't matter what grade you get. It doesn't matter what people have to say about your acting. And that's nothing to do with the drama school. They were lovely. There was great teachers. It's just, you're there for you and what you take from it. It doesn't matter what grade you come out with. It doesn't matter that kind of things, is that just go and have fun and push yourself. Do you know, you've got 3 years to go and experiment and see what works, see what you can do. I think I held back a lot, but I think now I'm learning that there's so much fun you can have, and we do it because we love it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to find the fun in it. So yeah.
And also when it's fun, you're relaxed, and you need to be relaxed. I remember seeing a quote, and it was like 75% of acting is being relaxed.
Oh my God, yeah, and it's being comfortable and finding that comfortability within yourself to just breathe, because that's when the best acting happens.
Yeah. If you're enjoying yourself, the audience is going to enjoy it as well. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. What's it been like adapting to like the public eye and handling? Have you people been recognising you in the street and
the first
whatnot?
time I went out with Liam, who plays Dylan, we went and got a coffee, and I did get stopped a few times. I'd only been on like 1 or 2 eps, and he was going, "Oh, just people might recognise." I don't know if you've been on like 2 episodes. People were so lovely, but it's a really surreal experience because you're not used to just. Do you know? Do you know what? I've been really everyone has been so positive, because I've come in as Vicky Myers, who plays DS Swain, Lisa Swain. There's so much love surrounding her, so I've really come under her wing, and everyone has been so positive. It's been really nice and reassuring, because you can overthink it. Do you know, don't get me wrong, it can be overwhelming at times because it's a whole new world, but people really have been lovely, and it's been nice to get that nice feedback. So yeah.
Good. But like, what would you like? Did you always want to be an actress? Like, did you want to be anything else before you? Was it in sixth form?
I wanted to be a zookeeper.
A zookeeper?
Yeah, always wanted to be like a zookeeper growing up. Like, it was for acting, for like my mum and my nana. It was a confidence thing. It was, you know, I was really shy as a kid, so it was more just. I remember we did primary school musical, and I played Sharpay, which is like, and I was just this little. It was just this little shy kid, but you're not. I went to a barbecue yesterday with family, and there was loads of young kids that wanted to ask about acting, and I said, even if it's because you're having to play someone else, you can fake the confidence, and that's so refreshing because you're not getting judged for you. You're playing a character, so you kind of find this inner confidence through someone else, another person, and you can kind of translate it into your own life. And I feel like it's made me much more of a chatty person. I've really gone on a tangent, but yeah, in sixth form, I had 2 amazing drama teachers that I owe everything to, and I was like, why not give it a shot? I enjoy it, I love it, it makes me happy. I'll kick myself if I don't go and give it a shot. Auditioned for 2 schools in Manchester, managed to get a place at one, and I was like, here we go. It's not far. I'm not far from Manchester anyway. So I was like, I love it. Why not see if I can turn it into a career?
Absolutely.
So
It's interesting you said it in terms of you can, because you're a character, you can like almost compartmentalize it and have that separately. And the thing for me is it's developed me as a person. Well, as my acting career has progressed and as my process has progressed, myself, like I've progressed as a person. I feel they work hand in hand because it's so human as a craft. It's art, and art is a human form of expression.
100%. You're literally exploring like the human brain, and like I feel like you get this bigger sense of like empathy for people, and I think it makes you a better person because you might play characters that have certain traits, and you kind of understand people more, and kind of maybe the trauma that's led them there, or it gives you this greater understanding of people, and I think it really builds you to have this. I'm going to say understanding again, but this understanding of how the brain works and how people work.
You're given the opportunity to see things from different perspectives, and to understand why people are the way they are.
Yeah, and how lucky is that? You wouldn't get that in kind of any other career.
Yeah.
So how would you describe, it's Betsy Swain, is that right?
Betsy Swain.
How would you describe like her personality?
She's very feisty. She's very intelligent. So DS Swain, obviously her mum, she works within the police. She is kind of shut off emotionally, and this such tough character mum, and she's so intelligent. And I like to think the feistiness is that for her age, she is so clever. We kind of see her manipulate people, and it's nice to kind of, I watched a lot of Vicky stuff. She's incredible. I watched a lot of her stuff and I channeled that into Betsy. But yeah, very feisty, very angst teenager. She's kind of like, I like to say she's like my alter ego. So like I was really shy as a teenager, and I'd love to have been how confident and loudmouth, and that she's not afraid to speak the truth. And I like that because I get to play the opposite of who I was as a teenager. So
I mean, before you were on about like we're talking about Longlegs, to be fair, we're talking about like approaching stuff in a sort of psychological point of view. So when you were saying like you were watching Vicky, did you say?
Yes.
Like her sort of process or her acting or her character, did you sort of, was it like a logical approach in terms of like, okay, well, she's acting like this, so her daughter will also be taking on these traits like naturally, and then psychologically you've created that, or was it just kind of instinct that like flowed?
Do you know what? Have you ever seen where, obviously you've watched Friends, or with, I know, well no, but Friends with is that they're playing this, but you'll get the gist. They're playing the same character for years. Yeah. And my dad said, because I was so nervous at first that I found out and I started a couple of days later. Like I was thrown straight into it. It was quite late, the casting. You settle into a character, and I was scared that I didn't fully know who she was when I started. But as you watch Friends, it doesn't matter whether you've not watched it, you watch them develop the character over time. And I think that's so beautiful to watch, is that I had the privileges that they'd only just moved into Weatherfield. So she wouldn't fully be herself because she's around new people that she's not necessarily met before. And that gave me the time to really explore who she was and how she reacts to things. And give her the benefit of the doubt, because she does come across this, she gets up to trouble, she causes mischief, she's not always the nicest sometimes, but I think it comes from a place of what she's had to deal with and the relationship she has with her mum. So yeah, and watching Vicky, it was kind of I just loved, because you take things off the people you're brought up around, who you surround yourself with, you carry traits from them, so I found it really interesting to watch her, because then I could channel that in, because she is her mother's daughter. So, yeah.
I was going to say, I was watching a few clips to see the sort of character choices that you'd chosen, and to see the interesting little details. I was watching a scene where you were blackmailing Callum's character.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd imagine your mum in the show, like, she's a police officer. She's got a moral sorted out.
Yeah.
And and then you're blackmailing someone for money.
It's like the contrast, isn't
Yeah.
it? Do you know, me and Callum went to the same high school, and we found that
Wow.
we found that day one. I worked with him. We went to the same high school, so it was nice that. But he's terrifying. He's so good to act with, though. He's such a lovely guy, and then when he acts, he's terrifying. But no, it's so the contrast of that. My mum is literally on this case trying to figure it out, to be someone that's just like, I'll get a bit of money out of this. I'll have a bit of fun. That's so fun, and we definitely explore that down the line as well. But it's so fun to come in and someone that's older than you, and I get to. It was weird because I'm working with all these like incredible actors that have been on it for years, and I'm coming in like putting my 2 pence in this character at the end, and I'm like, it's not me, I promise. But no, it's so fun to be able to do that, and the naivety of her being young. She's a lot. I mean, I'm 22 and the character's 16. Is that she's so young, but it's this like fun playfulness that she has, that's been so great, and it's been so exciting to play her. So
that naivety, it must be exciting because you're learning as a 16-year-old about yourself and how you develop, and I guess that's how that character develops through the coming episodes. It's just exciting. I love that. Yeah,
being able to play so much younger is so fun, because remembering how your brain worked back then, because it's like obviously you learn so much, you mature. Like the years between like 16 and 20, they're massive, like development years. So to be able to go back and see flaws that we had, or see you're experiencing life for the first. Everyone's experiencing life for the first time, and it's exciting to play those in different situations that you'd be in, and to get to relive them is so fun. So
when you were in drama school, I guess because from what the sounds of things, you kind of just went straight into Carrie.
Yeah.
Was it like obviously when you do play, you mainly do plays in drama school, don't you? So
Yeah.
you get to sort of see the end point, you get to see the beginning, you get to see the pieces in between. I remember we used to do, one of the teachers taught me like objective analysis, which is kind of like you just break down like what other characters say about me, what my character says about themselves, what my environment says about me, and then it's just like detective work. You piece
pull
everything
apart
together.
everything you can.
And what I found on Waterloo is that you don't know the ending. You don't know where you're going.
Oh,
so
no.
have you found that freeing, or I found that difficult initially? Like, what was your experience of it?
It is, because obviously they're writing and writing and writing, and it's you don't necessarily. This is why in the beginning I was like, like what's come before this? What's come out? I don't know. But how exciting, because they wouldn't know. The character wouldn't know what's coming. So I kind of look at it from that perspective of, well, Betsy wouldn't know what's to come. So you live it for the first time in that scene, and that's how, just like we don't know what's coming tomorrow, we don't know what's going to happen in a year's time, and I kind of like it from that perspective of how fun, whether it's scary or not, but you don't know what's to come. And
what would you like to happen for your character?
Ooh, I'm excited to, we're kind of digging into it now, but to see the relationship between her and her mum. I'm really excited to explore that, and we have explored that. Because so Betsy had 2 mums, and Becky, her other mum, died on duty, and kind of explored it's very briefly touched upon, but you can see it's quite obviously a timid subject. It's quite a scary subject, so to kind of explore that, and we've kind of done very surface level. Her mum doesn't really want to open up. There's a barrier there, and I'm excited to see. I think it will eventually come crashing down, and there'll be a big whatever that is. I'm really excited to explore that and get stuck into that. So
okay, cool.
Cool. I think we just touched on it there in terms of drama school and coming out of it and going onto set and seeing how your process develops, and how when you're working on something, how it's individual to that project. What would you say your process is at the moment?
I think this is such a tricky thing to answer, because it's just like my little brain ticking, and it's hard to put into words. You know, they teach you at drama school all these different methods, and I think not everything works for everyone. It is a really tricky one to put into words. Feeling it a lot. I like to I read things over and over and over, and it is really hard to
I like to envision the
yeah.
scene. I like to imagine the scene, and like what camera shots would be will be used, and how I'd like how I'd plan the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to it, a lot of what you've planned
You can't plan it.
would be changed.
So no, you can't.
Because of what your co-actor, what they give you.
Yeah.
So you go in with a plan, and then you throw it away, and that seeps into your subconscious, and then you just go off of your instincts, I think.
Yeah, I think when you're doing soap acting, it's hard to have a defined process because it is very instinctual. It is very, you've got to believe that you know your character and that you know how they would react. It's because you're working with so many different actors, people that you'd never have met before. You have no idea. I remember I did a scene with Ali King, and I expected, she's great, I love her, she's such like my second mum, her and Vicky. And I expected it one way in my head, and she did it so differently. It was great. And you just have to adapt in the moment. And I think because you're churning out scenes so rapidly, is that you have just got to believe when you know your lines and you know your intentions in the scene, is trusting yourself. What is your natural reaction? You only get a couple of takes. Like, you're not there all day on this one scene. So it is just, if you feel it, I have this like warm, fuzzy feeling if I know a scene, if I'm happy with it, because I was in it. And I think that's it's hard to put my process into words because there isn't an exact thing I follow. I just know if I feel it, I feel it. So
It's all about feeling.
yeah.
I think there's you can go too intellectual about it sometimes, and I like how you said you couldn't put it into words, because sometimes you can't. Sometimes you look at a script and go, actually, I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't need to just like faff around with all the extra stuff. The scene is what it is, and going in and listening and reacting and trying to provoke something out of the other person is the simple foundations of what acting is.
It's all about feeling and making others feel.
Yeah,
But-
I've never been a big, and everyone has their own process and stuff. I've never been a big having to write loads of stuff down. I'll do my research and I'll take it in, and if it's up, because if it's on here, I'm not. I need it to be up here.
Yeah.
I'm not always someone that's always been good with note taking. If I ever go into a meeting, I'll do the notes after. I have to be there 100%. So my kind of process, if I believe it up here, if it's all up here, that's the way it makes sense for me, which I know it's not helpful because, people ask, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? I don't know. It's just, you trust
Does anyone
yourself.
know?
What you're saying in terms of I don't know, that's key. That's what I've realised is that I just never know. Sometimes I'll be like, that was an awful take.
Yeah.
And I
And
can
you
go
don't-
home
yeah.
and beat myself up about it. And I'll be like, yo, acting, is this really for me? Like,
Yeah, like
That's
and
what's
then I
really
can watch it
hard.
in ADR and be like, yo, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It wasn't
That's
as bad
like
as you
fire.
thought.
And like, I never usually feel about that.
Me
But then
too.
sometimes you can be like, yo, that's sick.
yeah.
And then you watch it and you go,
Oh no.
that was
do
really
that weird thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's
Yeah.
So it's about, for me at least, it's about not knowing, believing instead. There was a thing I saw on Instagram, which is like, you can only believe in what you don't know. You got to have faith in that. You can't believe in facts. Facts are just facts. Like, it's knowledge. It's all about trust. One of the last blocks that I did was with a producer and director, and freaking amazing. And they were like, you just got to trust us. You just got to trust us. Trust yourself.
Yeah.
Trust us. They're not going to put out anything that they think is bad
No.
either, you'd hope.
No.
The more you can trust that it's in your subconscious, or it's in your heart, or it's in your core, or it's in your being, it's going to read. Sometimes you can aim for something and beat yourself up because you're like, wait, I had this point that I wanted to reach. I wanted to get this out of that person. And it's frustrating. Oftentimes, that's when it's like trusting the universe, spirituality, core, instinct, whatever anyone wants to call it. It's all just semantics. But at the end of the day, it's just like, that could have been what it was always meant to end up. If you go too far, because it's like maybe egos popping off or whatever, then it means that in that next scene, the audience don't have that cathartic like release, because you've already cried and broken down 20 times because you want to
Yeah.
impress everyone because you're an actor or whatever.
Yeah.
Just trusting everyone in the crew, trusting they got your back, trusting yourself.
I think as well, one of the biggest things I've learned by being there is, you talk about beating yourself up and going home and overthinking it, is that, I mean, one, it shows that you care. It shows that you care about it, which is, you've got to cut yourself a bit of slack, is that you think that much about it because you truly care about the performance you give and how the performance you give other people, because that's what it is. It's being a generous actor, and you're not the only person in the room, the only person in a scene, and it's what do you offer to them, and you bounce off each other. But it is because you're turning out scenes so fast, and you're doing a lot, especially because I'm new and there is a lot to film, is that letting myself, not everything has to be perfect. Humans aren't perfect. Is that I really, and I still do it now. I go home and I go, God, I could have done this. I could have done that. I could have done. You did it. You did a good job, and you've got to trust yourself on that. Whether you think it was a good job or not, is that trusting that you're meant to be there. I felt that I had to, even when I'd got the job, I was like, oh my God, I need to prove to them that I can do it. No, you've got the job. Relax. Have fun with it. Find the character. Not everything is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And it's hard to accept that, but because you are putting so much out, it's not going to be perfect every time.
Like, I think imperfect scenes are the best. Like, in we mess up in real life. Like, we stutter, our voice breaks, you know?
Why do you look at me like that? You did me dirty there.
Like, I think we tend to overthink. You know, we think too much and feel too little. And we should just focus on feeling.
And the job of an actor is to think less and feel more. So
What did you say? Sorry, man.
the job of an actor is to think less and feel more. I think sometimes thinking about it, you can't. Something I learned recently was trying to put words for feelings can be helpful, but it can also be hindrance, because sometimes you don't know what you're feeling, and you just have to accept that that feeling is there and it's valid, and that it's okay to not understand it. And the best work is, like you were saying, it's unpredictable. You can't quite figure it out, because if you can figure it out, then what's the point of watching it? Because there's nothing to do. You're just there watching it. Whereas if there's, like, when we were watching Longlegs, there's bits where you're like, why have they just done that? Like, I'm trying to figure that out now. And then that's making me, like, enjoy the film more, because I'm more focused on the film and not focused on what's going on up here in my head.
Yeah.
Nobody goes to watch for the acting. You know, they're not there to analyze it. They're just there to enjoy the story, enjoy the reality of the situation and what's going on.
The audience aren't going to see a mistake that you made in this. They have no idea what the scene was going to be. They have no idea. They're just there to enjoy, like you said, just enjoy what's going on. Is that you are your own worst self-critic. No one is going to be as harsh on you as you are on yourself. Sorry, I really looked you in the...
I was like, it was the tarot reading all over again.
But it is, and you have to really just cut yourself some slack and just truly believe in yourself and have faith in yourself. That's like the biggest thing that if no one believes in you, believe in yourself. Because yeah.
That's a gorgeous place to wrap up, I think.
Yeah, trust the process.
We never played the game, the acting game. Are we not doing that?
Just towers today, my dude.
Oh, okay.
Just
towers.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute joy.
Thank
you
you
so much for
Thank
you very much.
reading my inner
been a
life.
pleasure.
And just,
Traumatizing you.
yeah.
I've, this
this has been
episode
gorgeous.
11's been phenomenal. So thank you for
so
coming on.
much. Thank you for
Thank you.